Hi, this is Ennis from Never Stop Trucking live stream today about how tech startups are taking advantage of trucking companies instead of doing a live dispatch. I thought I would help our dispatchers here today and look for loads live, but hey, they covered everyone for today, and it's that was even before 10 a.m. this morning. So I think that's a good thing for us. It's a good advertisement for Usora Express. If you're an owner operator, right there, Usora Express. In description of this video, you have a link and way to contact me. So yeah, everyone is covered for today. That's just crazy, especially in these markets and with these prices. Owner operators, since we are company 100% owner operators tend to be more picky and they choose their own loads, and it's hard to find a load that they like and that pays well in these times. But yeah, hey, everyone is covered, so I have nothing else to do. I'm just gonna talk about these tech startups. I've been asked to follow up on that video that I made the other day about how highway DAT and a lot of other software companies are taking advantage of the markets and the trucking industry, and how they're manipulating uh, the data and and everything that they do in their favor. And there is a lot to talk about if we really want to go into details about that. But I have prepared some notes. I wrote down some things. I put everything together. So bear with me. It's going to be some reading, some statistics, some examples. If you are willing to participate in this conversation, you can leave a comment in the comment section, and I'm reading all these comments. I'm watching them. If you have any questions about anything else, that's also fine, but I will concentrate on those questions that have nothing to do with this topic today. I will concentrate on those questions later in the stream towards the end, so you can ask anything you want. Um, Hopefully, you can hear me. I'm gonna turn this so this kind of, yeah, these letters on the microphone, it just takes my attention away for some reason. But yeah, let's start. So I'm gonna give you some examples here of some software companies, some tech startups, and other um, names in the trucking industry that don't do trucking, right? So these people, these companies, there are hundreds, most likely thousands of companies that serve the trucking companies, meaning they're sucking away the money from trucking companies and brokerages, but they have nothing to do with actual trucking, right? They just provide their services, sometimes unnecessary. Sometimes these services you didn't even know you needed them, but it's nice to have. And this adds up, right? You pay $20 here, $100 there. It just adds up, and they're making a lot of money. Okay. So I'm going to give you some examples of load boards that we have. DAT, Truck Stop, 123 Load Board, Trucker Path, Direct Freight. And then we have a lot of brokers' websites. Those are free, and they are right now. It's hard to find a load over there because they don't have that many loads anyway, and they're cheap. So it's I used to go to broker load boards all the time. Like all the time, I would have open few of them, and then sometimes if you can't find a load on DAT, you would just go to a broker load board and find a load there. It would be easier, less stressful. But right now, they just like most people don't even go there unless uh, the broker asks them to do that, or they need to book that load in their system. So TMS and dispatch softwares. There are so many dispatch softwares out there. It's just crazy. We need a few good ones, and we need up-to-date TMS. Most of these TMS softwares are just out of date. They look like, and they are something from like 90s and the 2000s, and most older people will still use them, but it's hard to learn how to use them. You need weeks of training, and you need hours and hours in order to input all those loads. The ones that are making a difference, like I can say Alvis, that one is kind of more advanced and how should I say, more user friendly and faster, and it looks better, but it's very expensive. I think their subscription starts at like 300 or something like that. And these TMSs, tracking management softwares, I think that's what it stands for. They nowadays they charge by truck usually, and it used to be that you would pay like 30, 40, $50 for them, but now if you want a good TMS, it's not going to be less than $100 or $200 per month. So here are some examples of these softwares: McLeod software, Trimble, Ascent TMS, Rose Rocket, Tailwind, Alvis, PCS software, the cards, Aljax, Transport Pro, Axon software, Tracking Office. I mean, and the list goes on. And I know like the Dr. Dispatch used to be a big thing. I think they're still around. And then we have a lot of safety and vetting and onboarding softwares that are taking the money from. Now these are concentrated more towards brokers, right? Carrier 411, Truck Stop Safer Watch, RMIS / My Carrier Packets, Highway, Carrier Sure, 10th Street, Idelic Safety Suite, Fleetworthy Solutions, Folly, Netradin, Lix, Motive, Samsara. Oh my God. And then there are more. There are more. And then we have these data directories, databases. I'm not going to even read through them. A lot of ELD companies. With the ELD mandate, these companies started flourishing, and there are 10 or so big names out there, like Motive, Samsara, Verizon Connect, Geotab, Omnitrax, JJ Keller, Garmin, Transfol, E-Road, and a lot of others. And all of these are charging, imagine if you have all these trucks out there, and all these trucks right now, the average price per truck for an ELD software is around $40 to $50 per month, right? So, multiply that by the number of trucks on the road. That's a lot of money. And then we have other or newer niche tools like Parade, OpenDoc, Green Screens, Truck Smarter, Good Ship. And then let's work with some numbers here. Now, okay, no, first let's do fuel cards. Okay, there are so many fuel cards out there. It used to be that we had like multi-service card, Fleet One, Apex. I think those were Com Data. Those were the main ones. But now we have so many new smart cards, fuel cards, and they will take transaction fees, monthly fees, and other fees that you don't even see. And some of them, like Mudflap, the other day, because we are using Mudflap among our fuel cards. And the other day, I was trying to help a new owner operator sign up for Mudflap card. And in order to complete the whole process, I don't think you have to go through this, but I think it just makes it easier for everything. It wants their driver's license. It wants to take a picture of their of their face. And to me, it's just like that's unnecessary. Why would a fuel card software want your driver's license and your picture? I'm just gonna go here, check on something. Okay. All right. And like I said, if you have any comments about this, if you have any suggestions, if you have any questions about anything else here, I can try to answer those questions. All right. Let's see. Okay. How these companies are creating monopolies? DAT is owned by Roper. They bought Trucker Tools in 2024. They bought Outgo, that's a factoring company, in 2025. And now they agreed to acquire Convoy's platform, Convoy, the broker that failed miserably. And then Flexport bought them, and now DAT is buying Convoy from Flexport. And then we have so yeah, like why is a load board purchasing a factoring company and a brokerage? Like that made me think about all of these things that are going on in trucking industry. Truck Stop bought Safer Watch. That's Carrier Wedding. They bought RMIS for onboarding / insurance. They bought Freight Friend. And then there are some other TMSs that bought other ones, and they're just making them larger and larger. And then we have these tracking softwares or apps. MacroPoint, we have Project 44, Four Kites. There is another one, I can't think of their name. And a lot of brokers, they will have their own tracking software and their own apps that will track drivers and their locations. And there's a lot of data involved in this, and I'll talk about that, about some of these companies, how they acquire data for themselves. So the Project 44, MacroPoint, and all these tracking apps, I mean, they know what's going on everywhere. Like they can work with statistics. I don't think they're allowed to sell that. Maybe we even when you agree to certain rules, terms of service when you start using them. So maybe we even agree for them to sell our data. We don't know. Okay. Let's see. Let's go further. Okay. Brokers. Now let's talk numbers. Okay. Corpay / FleetCor, that's a fuel company, fuel cards. They had almost $4 billion in revenue. WEX had they bought Fleet One and I think Comdata. They had $2.63 billion of revenue in 2024. Uber Freight, that's a startup that's probably gonna fail very soon. They reported revenue of 1.3 billion, but they've been in negative. I think they said like they only made some money in 1 year. Since they started, they made money. They were actually in positive just 1 year. Everything else they have been negative. That's crazy. And someone is pushing them to work. Broker take. FMCSA TIA materials put average broker margin near 15%. And they're claiming that 20% of US truckload volume moves via brokers. right? So they say that 20% of these loads are moved by brokers, and if the the trucking industry is worth it makes 400 to 500 billion a year, and if 20% of that is brokered, and if their margins are 15%, that implies that they are getting 12 to 15 billion dollars each year, brokers, right, for doing the work that could have been done either by shipper or by a carrier. Okay. So let's talk about highway. Now, highway is it does help. It makes filling out the packets faster, and that's true. But what else does highway do well? Well, they collect data well, and they collect truck information well, and their location. You have to connect the ELDs. They connect to your insurance. They get your VIN numbers for your trucks. They get your insurance. And then this year, they started asking for the managers or the owners of trucking companies. They're asking for their IDs for their driver's license, and they're getting your driver's license and your data for free, right? And they say that this is due to fraud protection. But what they're doing is just gathering a lot of data, and who knows what they can do and what they will do with it. Right now, for example, AT&T, if you are an AT&T customer, there is a lawsuit right now against AT&T, and they agreed to settle. And people who have been using AT&T for a few years, some of them might be eligible for, I think, like $7,500 a settlement. And it's just crazy how these companies get all this data, and then someone somehow breaks into it, and they steal the data, social security numbers, addresses, maybe even credit card information. I don't know if they keep that or not, but they can just claim it on that. They say that someone stole it, and then here I'm going to pay you a settlement fee, but who knows what's really going on, right? So what can happen with highway? What can happen with all these companies? It's just, with that data, no one knows. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. I think this is an interesting topic that requires a lot of research. But yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about today. And this is something that should be worrying to us, but I guess no one is talking about it. So like I said, I made a video the other day about that, and you can also find that video. That video does not go into details like this live stream does. So that's it right now. Since there are no questions, that's it right now for this topic. Email me if you have any suggestions. Let me know what you want us to talk about in the next live stream. I know you guys like dispatching, but once we have more empty trucks, like today was everything was covered. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and then I'll see you guys around. Come back for more, and you have a great day. Thanks.